If you or someone that you know struggles with depression, this episode is for you. I myself actually have a history of struggling with depression. And over the years, as a mental health therapist and working with a lot of people who also struggle with it, I have learned one really important thing. If you are someone who thinks for a living, you have to use your brain a lot throughout the day. You're not actually going to be able to fix that tired brain at the end of the day by resting. What I mean is laying on the couch, watching TV, playing a game on your phone. People who think for a living actually need to engage the body in ways that will keep it active. And by doing so, this actually helps your depression more than anything. Let me share a little bit about what I mean. When we're depressed, the last thing we feel like doing is anything. We just want to sit around and do nothing. We have a loss of motivation. But the more we sit around, the more we're feeding into that depressive loop. And then what happens is you get more and more depressed as each day goes on. Recent research has actually proven that physical activity by itself is more effective than any kind of psychotropic and talk therapy combined. That's huge, you guys, huge. So I'm a therapist. I'm not saying therapy is not helpful, but when we look at the research and also what I'm talking about today as far as how do I rest my brain at the end of the day, if I am someone that's prone to depression, the answer is activity. A lot of times we get into these depressive states and it's like, I just don't feel like it. I'll wait until I get to the point where I do. By doing that, you're just increasing the length of that depressive episode and preventing the healing that needs to happen to pull you out. The key is that when our body stays busy, our mind actually is allowed to get quiet. And what we find is those depressive thoughts start to disappear. So action changes the feeling of being depressed. The feeling itself doesn't change on its own. Physical exercise is the best mode of activity for depression because your body's releasing endorphins, and that is also an extra benefit to the mood that you're already having. However, if it's not just something as simple as a walk, lifting weights, running, whatever you feel like doing, any other kind of activity can be extremely beneficial. So cook a meal, hang out with friends, create something, color, build something with your hands. When you do that, your brain actually sees the process and proof of change, and then that plays a role in your depressive state. That turns into a feeling of accomplishment. And how many people do you know that feel accomplished are also feeling depressed in that same moment? Very few people. The biggest key to this is that you have to do it before you might feel ready. If you are willing and able to make a change in your life long term when it comes to your depression, this is how you're going to do it. So if you are currently in this state or you've struggled with it in the past, my encouragement for you is next time you feel down in your brain and your body, you're not going to want to do anything. Force yourself to get up and engage in some sort of physical activity and notice how that shifts things for you. I would love to hear your progress. If you feel like you know anybody that struggles with this, please feel free to share this episode with them and subscribe for future podcasts.